Means that, yeah,
Okay,
Thursday or Friday.
we're live.
I haven't heard.
Okay, good morning.
Dave
I'd
said
like
no.
to call the operations meeting for the Village of Point Edward to order. And I have none. No delegations booked. And the prior meeting minutes have been approved at our last council meeting. Ongoing tasks. Sorry, I know I moved quickly through the agenda.
So the match presentation will be looking to reschedule that probably this month. Arena roof work, actually the guy is hoping to get here today to meet with me. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do it when he gets here, but to go over the roof of the arena. The brochure for the hanging baskets program is ready to go out today. Signage on washrooms.
Do the target market for that, for the baskets.
What we're just advertising it, or either in memory of or sponsored by. So if a local business wanted to sponsor a basket, and so that kind of thing, in memory of or sponsored by.
Signage.
There's something in the agenda about that, is there not? I think. Not.
See it.
Steve took a picture for me the other day about where we're at with that.
For the washrooms,
Yeah,
for the signage, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be talking about the signage for the waterfront washrooms, the open and closed season.
yeah,
Because we're approaching the open season, that'll be for next year, we'll say probably, I know we're still supposed to discuss dates, but it would say probably close. No, beginning of November to generally, historically, it's been beginning of May. Is what we've done in the past.
Yeah, this is putting them down.
No,
Have it
it'll be,
placed for the
yeah,
November.
they're gonna come down in a week or so or whatever here, and
Yeah,
they'll be open for the summer, so it's just something that we could, instead of, like I said, we have close to the season already, so maybe we just make a two small ones underneath banner signs that say dates. Right, I think it's, and then that way, maybe we alleviate some of the phone calls to the office.
Yeah, I'm sure. I appreciate that. Yeah.
so the reconsideration of the bread bud tree is ongoing. The online calendars, I'm gonna ask Dara to put that in her, she's working on a newsletter. A quarterly newsletter, so we'll put that in there. Letters have been sent out to residents.
so the online calendar has been created for.
So this is for rentals of, or not rental, but usage of McCray Park.
And it's been working pretty good too. We've already added a couple in there and looked them up ourselves and we're doing what we intended it to do. So people can see if they want Wednesday night, they can work and go and all off.
Parking restrictions, a letter has gone out. I think we have early in May, people send back, so we can kind of compile that and have it for the next committee meeting. Sharing urban forest management, that's this week or next,
What's that?
that's sharing urban management.
I thought it was this week, but
2019 is what
that was the month.
I sort of recall, but
Billing, I've talked to Kelly, property standards officer, about that, so that's. We're looking into that. Insurance rates deductible, I'm trying to set up a meeting. I've had contact with our insurance agent, she'd like to bring in. The representative from the company as well, so we're working on getting that put together. And we'll talk about reduction in security measures that we're putting in. Will help with any insurance rates then as well. Also, I've reached out to that, not sure the name of the company, but the contact you gave me, deputy mayor for the film glass, protect the glass, so working on that as well. I think everything else there is kind of capital stuff and it's in that other reports.
I would may have a question. Mr. Chair, the roof of the arena, my understanding, or that we we've had discussions with some roofing contractors. We may not need to go through this whole engineer route.
That's what yes, yes, maybe.
Because like a contractor said, there's 3 arenas I've done nearby that you could go check and see the quality of my work and not have to go through this whole rigmarole of spending money on an engineer.
Right, so, and they have, like, I've actually met 2 different companies that do work at the county quite a bit. More on flat roofing, but they've done, the arena it's a barrel roof, but it's a flat roofing product that's on it. And they've got a team that will come and do an evaluation and it could save us the pile, and that's why we haven't put the RFP out yet.
Okay.
We want to see, and we met on site with, the one contractor last week. And, he was gonna come in and see me this morning, whether he's been here or not, I'm not sure. And I told him I might not gonna meet him when he does come, so, we'll get together and he's gonna have some ideas. And he's also looking at the fire hall library roof system as well, so.
Okay. Thank you. That seems to make sense, I think, because it is a relatively straightforward roof design, and if this guy has done multiple arena roofs, then it has a good track record, maybe the way to go. Because we've quite a significant sum of money set aside for that engineering.
Well, I don't, yeah, it was, I mean, it was money that was gonna be spent that may not need to be, so.
Thank you.
Move on to the health and safety. Or I guess we need a recommendation to receive the file.
Yeah, I'll make that recommendation. We've covered everything else on there, looks like. Okay. So moving on to the health and safety inspection sheets. I know everything for the arena looked good. There was a couple things in public works.
Bridge plug, that's being done as we speak. So that's being done, to protect the panel from the shower. We're in the process of removing some of the plugs that will allow us to build a cabinet around it. They're doing that right now as well.
Okay.
And
Is that the eye wash station?
Yes.
But it was staying close to the electrical.
yeah, so Doug said we could build like a box around it.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is there was some redundant plugs there, so I'm having those removed by the electrician because they're still tied to the panel. Moving those, and then we will have it streamlined to what we can build a box around. And we'll build a box, and we plan on just putting the whiteboard on as the door, so it can be just very fast. So that's the plan. Okay. So it's in the process, that is, the bridge plug will be done probably by that. I think that was all that was nominated. The bar salt thing?
Yeah.
We moved that in the back check. I did some research. I mean, you go to the hardware store, you buy it off the shelf. But I moved it in the back shed just to alleviate any concerns.
That's a power bar. There was an electrical thing for the power bar too. Is that the same thing?
It's for the fridge, I think.
Okay.
It was on an extension board.
Yeah, it's it's under electrical safety.
Yeah.
I think it's.
So that's, we're having a plug, we're having a actual conduit put over to the fridge, so it will be directly plugged into it. That's why, so that will be. It could be done almost as we speak, but it's considered working on it.
Okay. Anything else on the health and safety? Nope. Okay. Moving on to the arena one first, arena
Generally,
on the report. Want to take us through that?
yes, I will. Just bring it up on the screen. Yeah.
I'm good with you.
So I won't read through the whole thing. There's been a number of contractors in just doing, minor repairs. The netting was installed on the east side of the arena last week. That's something we've been waiting for. Last year, they couldn't get product. And by the time they got it, the ice was already in, so the ice started coming up last Monday. I think the netting was installed on Wednesday. And lacrosse will be starting in there this week. So that's, this year they didn't they just let the ice melt naturally rather than they usually bring the loader over from Public Works and carry a lot of it out. They didn't do that this year, and they think they're quite happy with the results of it. Didn't, the scraper, the bucket scraping the cement leaves marks, and they were just,
Yeah, it's way nicer way to do it, like, even from our perspective, right? We feel like worried about it before it's just stuff like this.
So how do we do it differently? I'm sorry.
this year we just let it melt.
Not naturally.
It all depends on what they're booked for, right?
Yeah.
So if
And
they
the
need-
weather too,
If they
right?
need it out now, so they could, if they've got a booking, then they call us, and if they can melt it, they can melt it.
And the weather, like it's,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah, it's,
yeah, it's still cold, but it doesn't melt.
Yeah.
So they had the figure skating show in and, got several comments of how well it went and how clean the facility is, all those types of things. So, another ice season in the books. It was nice to, actually have a regular season, not interrupted at all by shutdowns due to pandemic. So the guys were quite happy with that. We had the employee and the contractor, the part-time employee seasonal, worked out very well. The guys, he fit in very well with the team and, he's interested. He would like to come back in the fall. They would like to have him back. So that was a good fit in there. I think that's about everything. The hot water system, that's late August, and they're doing planning work for it now with the installation of it. That's a fairly substantial capital item, but that's, planning to do that in late August and have it ready for the next phase.
and I think if I can, I think the Jamboree also mentioned in there.
Yeah.
That the college students put on, and I hear with my friend as well.
Yeah, no, just at the year-end, when we were at the hockey banquet, they were just raving about our staff, our facility, how well treated they are and how flexible as far as staffing, scheduling and everything else. They really gave a great review at the banquet from their leadership group. Okay. I'll move to receive and file the arena monthly report.
Yep.
And we'll move on to the public works monthly report.
That's the end of it, right?
I'm putting his glasses on, so ready to take us through.
Thank you for having us, first of all.
What can we tell you?
Outstanding from the previous month. Employee training, we've everybody's completed their online asbestos awareness training. The operational side, the exterior of the building, we've gone clean each dross, which we try to do a couple times a year. So lots of leaves and debris over the winter that's gone in there. Inspection wise, monthly fire extinguishers and eye wash station inspections have gone according to our regular schedule. We've done the CBR on 1 ton truck, which we use for the chipping and stuff like that.
So that's a good question.
Absolutely.
I always ask this question. If we get a lot of acronyms, what does CBOR stand for?
That's a fantastic question.
Commercial vehicle.
Operating something.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to put anything on the spot.
You've done well, though.
We do a lot of these, and I'm thinking if I'm watching this and we throw all these acronyms out, it's always a good question to ask.
It's an inspection done for a heavier vehicle that can be used to carry and haul more on the commercial side of the weights.
I think it stands for yellow sticker.
Yellow sticker, exactly, CBR.
Yeah, commercial vehicle
Yep.
registration, operation registration.
Okay, we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would have looked it up. I just,
Yeah,
every
no,
once in a
it's,
while, I always start
yeah,
throwing
it's-
these acronyms around at meetings and
Yeah, if they haul over, I believe it's 5,000 kilos, then you have to have one as a commercial vehicle. And, So yeah, the one ton had one, then it didn't, then it did, but we put it on there, so now we're able to haul our big trailer with it. So we just meet all the standards, so if we wanna take our lawnmowers instead of having somebody come earlier to set all this. but- Okay, so rather than us calling up South Point and having the trailer costing us $200, $300, we can now load it in the trailer that we have, haul it at ourselves, so. It just gives us more flexibility to utilize that vehicle.
Good. That sounds like it saves us money.
Yeah, in the long run, and it just gives us flexibility, so when I need something done, I can haul it out there and drop it off, like. We've got the one track that goes to Alvinston, and two of the other ones go to Wyoming. So it just gives us some flexibility to get that done ourselves, rather than having to wait for them all the time.
Thank you.
And we are, do our monthly playground inspections, to make sure everything is intact and working properly. Splash pad and washroom inspections also continue, the splash pad preparing to open May long weekend potentially.
Well, I think it's normally June 1st on the board, but well, we've had some problems with the, valves over there, there's the anti-vandalism valves over there, and they've been leaking. So we had one washroom that was closed for almost 2 years. And the few people I did talk to were like, oh, we can't get this, can't get that, so I did, to a couple other people that I know, John and I, and he came in and found me all the parts I need, so. It costs us a few dollars to fix it, but I'm hoping we'll have all the washrooms available this year. Working properly, I've been trying to find somebody to do that. And with the splash pad, I'm also bringing in the original installers to help us, because we did have a lot of problems with it last year. And I'm not knocking anybody, but I felt there was a lot of big new fixes put on it last year, which I wasn't happy with. So what I want to do is get these guys in, explain it to us so we understand it better, so we're not getting bamboozled. And these guys are gonna do the opening for us. And,
You'll be there.
yeah, well, I wanna have everybody.
Yes,
That's my goal.
yeah.
If everybody can't make it, definitely at least 2 or 3 of us.
Yeah.
So that when they do explain it all to us, so. Cause he's told me, he goes, these are simple, if you ever have a problem, he goes, I could probably walk you through it on the phone. So, and we've been relying on John Miller, which is fine, but he comes at 4 in the morning and nobody knows what he does. It usually gets kind of fixed, but I wanna be able to, I wanna know what's going on, you know, so that's my plan. So I'm bringing in the guys from Paris this year, obviously Paris Ontario,
Mhm.
and they're the ones that installed it. So they're gonna be able to give us any extra parts, because I know the push button was a little bit of a problem. Wasn't working, so I'm gonna get a couple of spare parts this year probably too. So that we're not left hanging, because that's, people miss out when it doesn't get on my pay, so.
Yeah, we put a lot of miles on it too through the summer.
Yeah,
It's always busy when I go.
yeah, so to me, like, we have 2 buttons that, I don't know what those buttons cost, but I think it's good to have one on the shelf, and he can show me how to change it. So if we do get in a jam on a weekend or something, then maybe we could do it ourselves, it needs to get us through, and then we've had a couple other issues, so I wanted to walk you through how we can troubleshoot ourselves.
Great.
Yeah.
That's it for that part. Vehicles in the, with the inspection on the one ton truck, it is installed a brake controller in a large trailer that has brakes. Weekly maintenance on regular equipment. Under health and safety, we've, I think all had our hearing tests completed. The health and safety committee has okayed use, or the having this company make the select few who want come and upgrade in hearing protection. They're doing like molded ones, so he was getting those. On top of what Greg for everything else. Security wise, nothing to report. Budget attached. Looking ahead, Steve.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay, well, I mean, we're looking ahead, but now we did start compost last Wednesday. And obviously this Wednesday again, which is gonna be a big one, because it's on myself.
Yeah, my wife's sorry she missed last one, did not have anything else, but she gave it up.
Oh,
I saw that.
that's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate we got a lot.
Say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, opening of the tennis courts after they're cleaned, we actually did open them, and I actually got a couple of good, nice comments, and thank you for having them open.
What was the condition of the surface this year?
It's, you know what, it's not great, but it's okay. So what I did was I, found a couple spots that are flat up. And I bought some good quality spray adhesive. And I sprayed those parts down, so we'll see how they fare. But it's, I'm not gonna say I have a lot of confidence in that surface, but like where he's repaired, I can see bubbles in it already. It's okay, it's not a trip hazard, but I don't feel that,
It's a good thing we're not hosting.
I would like to look into this if there's anybody else that does that sort of service.
Because when we, asking, when we approved that project, we were told this was the surface of the century, and that once it's installed, we would never have to do anything with it, and it would just be like,
Did you put that in writing for you?
I don't think we
No.
did, no.
So, yeah, I mean, the substrate to begin with, I think was probably a big part of the problem, and I think, you know, maybe a mill and pave on that prior to what he did might have been a good, option. But again, like that's hindsight's 2020, I wasn't around for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a salesman, you know, and, you know, if you looked at it from the street, it looks fine, but if you look at it from standing on it, it's definitely, and I just see other issues with it, like just walking around it, there's lots of little cracks and little spots. So I sprayed adhesive probably 4 spots yesterday. I'm hoping that'll hold it down for the season and see where it goes. So I bought the best stuff I could find with my front door, so I'm hoping that that will at least get us through and then maybe be able to repair it and finish one, anything on surfaces out there.
But for the chair, should we be this summer getting some opinions on the surface so we can get for next year's budgeting? Because I think, I think we're gonna hear later in the meeting that it's getting increased usage. And it's a popular location, it's a nice location. We thought we were doing the right thing, and
Yeah, and there's no, like that, it would sounded great.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
You know, I think if you started with a brand new substrate, I don't think we'd have the problem with that.
right, yeah. It's like anything, you're like putting lipstick on a pig type of thing. We
Yeah.
cleaned it up, looks beautiful.
Yeah, like you could pressure wash it, but, you know, maybe it was meant to be milled and paved, and, but again, that would have, the cost would have gone up exponentially. Yes, yeah.
You can look and see that there's some options out there.
Yeah, we have the time, right? So,
Okay, ball diamond maintenance and opening. Mike and I, we went out yesterday. We have this thing called the Rascal. So I went online and looked at a couple of YouTube videos on how to use it. And, Mike and I feel like it's probably as good as it's looked for years. So we were able to chill up like, you can set the depth. We were actually out, able to, sort of retrofit it to the tractor with some, hillbilly engineering. So that we can actually lift and load it with the tractor, so we don't have to go and crank the handle all the time, and I think that was very likely to use this much. And, yeah, so we're going to buy bags today. Hopefully get the bags installed later this week, and then should be, but all our bookings are like for May 1, but we're gonna try and have it hopefully rolling by maybe end of this week. I don't know the game process, but that's kind of what we're shooting for right now. But the surface looks great.
yeah, I watched you guys work yesterday.
Thank you.
It was tiring.
Appreciate that. Was it?
Yeah.
Watching it. So did you get dizzy?
Yeah, yeah.
Watching them go around the schools?
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, so maintaining and troubleshooting splash pad washing and washing the park, yeah, so that was the same thing I was mentioning about being with John McKnight, finding those flush valves. So I've got, he's ready to order them, like I say, they're not cheap, but I think that's another thing that wouldn't hurt to have spares. So that we're not stuck, like last year, we were turning off the hot water so that we could run the cold through the hot, so the bathroom could stay open. Those kinds of things, I don't think, that's not the way it should happen. So I'm trying to get back to, it's only 6 years old, it should be like 5 parchments. So, and John was able to source all the funds, so I say they're about $800. So, that's, if you had to replace them all, you'd be looking at 4,000. But I'm sure we spent that last year on bandits, so. to spend our money more wisely in that respect. And cleaning and maintaining various gardens, so that's something else we're gonna be, we kind of started that a little bit here and there, but we'll be getting into the dead ends, cutting grasses down. Raking out the gravel, hopefully, maybe seeding some of it. We're gonna hopefully get it fertilized, very part, we bought a PGO drive fertilizer last year, which should allow us to do that more often and easier, so we're doing Craig, probably soccer pitch. Hopefully in the next week or two. Hopefully see if we can get, I know the Princeton Craig grass is pretty rough. And I may try to do some overseeding with it as well this year, maybe, because I think that's something we haven't ever done.
Yeah. Or push some of the weeds out.
Yeah, and I may even look into, I know Podolinsky's rents aerators. So I wouldn't do it at Waterfront Park due to the sprinkler system, but Craig and might be able to try running that spike aerator over it, and then top seed.
Yep.
That'd be something that's got something, seed to cling to.
Yep.
But that's, but at least the one get it, fertilize it, see if we can get it. So, yeah, get it going.
I think with the investment in the fencing and then if we can invest in the turf as well and get it like, I think
Like,
that's a
I
great,
know it'd
a
be
great,
way too much money, but a sprinkler system there would go a long
Yeah,
way, but that's a lot of money. It's costly, water.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a standpoint of potential, but that's one of the big drawbacks of Craig, that's why it gets so hard, just we're at the mercy of money. Closing comments, we removed the snow fence and then the bookings of the sports fields. Like I said, that's been working good for us, so. Yeah.
for your report.
I don't know if you wanted me to go over this, Jim, at all, but then you sent me about the capital stuff.
No, not yet.
Okay.
We could, well,
There's not a lot to it right now, I guess.
it's coming up in the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
One question.
Yeah.
The pub or the arena guys are coming next week.
They're coming the week after, I believe, right? They've got that show on this week, so they're all working nights and different shifts, so I think they are coming. I thought he said the 27th. Then I'll,
27th isn't the first.
sorry, not the 24th. Okay. Yeah, I think the 24th. 24th, yeah. So then a week after that, we'll have our students starting.
Receive and file that report.
Mhm.
Next item on our agenda is the request to book tennis courts.
So this, someone called into the office, 2.5 weeks ago originally, and was asking about the possibility of booking the tennis courts. They indicated they may come to the last council meeting. And I think the ladies that are here today are here for that's the purpose they're here is to be around when we discuss this issue. So I asked Steve to send me a picture of the rules for use of the tennis courts as it currently exists. So I've got that up on the screen back here. So, right now there is, like, we don't allow for booking other than if it's a tournament or something. And the sign says that if I'm using the courts and Steve shows up, he lets me know that he'd like to play, and then basically I have another hour to use the courts if I choose to, if I want to leave in half an hour. Then Steve can take them. So we're trying to get as many people able to use them as possible. But as I said, there is an allowance if somebody comes in and wants to do a tournament or something there. As long as we have 14 days notice and from council, we can, there is possibility to do that. It hasn't happened in the past. We did have a gentleman in to request, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years ago. Tennis for youth. I don't know if that's exact terminology, but there was a gentleman that was
Yeah, I remember that. It was gonna be Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
relatively early.
And then it just kind of fell apart, so, we've never heard back from that gentleman to see if he's interested in doing this or not. So this is the,
I have a question on it, just, I know with the soccer and the ball diamond that we have to have a proof of insurance. Is that something that's gonna have to be related to somebody booking a tournament or anything like that? Is that something else that would require? Like if they were to book, like if that, for youth gathering, would you have to provide us with that liability insurance as well?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, anybody that's. I mean, if anybody can just show up and use any of our facilities and if they're just kind of there. But if we know it's an organized event. And they've reached out to us, we want proof. So, absolutely. So I did prepare a report. And my recommendation was just to leave things as is. And not to allow bookings. Now. Since I posted the agenda on Friday, we got an email from, I'm not sure if it was one.
Liz.
Liz,
Mhm.
thank you. And I circulated that at council. There's been a little bit of back and forth about things, and that's kind of where we stand today.
So should we refer this to council? How time sensitive is this? Do we have any correspondence
Yeah.
with that?
Email, when does he want
I
to
don't
start?
have it in front of me. That's why
We
I
wanted to
asked.
start in June,
June.
first week of June. We're actually gonna start playing there tomorrow, but just catch up, whoever shows up tomorrow, it's not really that organized.
Under our existing,
the Wednesday group then?
Mhm. Wednesday and Friday morning.
Have you had many problems with not having the court? Just a question.
No, not so far. It's just that we've been told by other groups in Sarnia that if you don't start booking these things, you're not gonna get it, because pickleball is growing.
Yeah. Okay.
Daily.
I just wondered if you've run into
Mhm.
problems with people on it before you got there, that's all.
Couple of times we ran into other people playing tennis and we just had to use one court, we couldn't use both. But, no, I wouldn't say it was a big problem, no.
So I don't, this has already been referred back to this committee, council referred it back to this committee. And we had a brief discussion of council, because we weren't sure. We got the email and phone calls with Karen and whoever was calling. And then they weren't able to be at the council meeting, so we had a brief discussion about that night and it was referred to this committee, so I think. If it's gonna go back to council, it should go back to the recommendation on how you like. to proceed.
okay, and then at that council meeting, when we approve these minutes, we can have that discussion or reopen it before we approve the minutes of this or this particular recommendation.
Exactly.
So it's your recommendation, staff recommendation, or? Or different ones? I have a different one, I could throw it there, but.
Okay, I would like to hear it. This is
Okay,
normally
yeah,
the committee I'm just sitting in today, so.
Yeah, but I'm okay with, doing a 1-year trial of a booking using our new online booking system and a sign. I think for this year, I don't think we need to introduce fees at this stage, I'd like to do the trial for 1 year. And then get feedback from the community, the pickleball users, see if there was a problem, so just a 1-year trial. For those days, and if you could just give us, if this moves forward, give us any feedback if you had any instances where there's an issue of another user, and just give us the feedback. That's very
Enforcement will be one of the challenging parts of it, right?
yeah, it'll have to be self-enforced primarily, but if there is a problem, then the office, we could send over like somebody from the office, like Jim people or me or whatever, but.
I think too with that, so that, if that's how you're gonna go to, is that would have to be added to the Google, the online calendar.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah. And I think the user group have recommended putting a sign up to help with information. So if you just say, courts are both in the state these months.
So that's, you want to just have this one group booking the course, or you want others to be able to book it as well?
I don't know.
I think we have to allow everybody. I think if they're in the line first, they'll get what they want, but for us to allow only one group, there could be someone else who wants to book it for,
Yeah.
you know, a birthday party or something like that, even, you know, they're a tennis oriented or family that maybe would want to do something like that.
So maybe we could have a sign for McCray and tennis courts. It just says. Always listening, that this facility may be booked. And to confirm availability and have the. Either the website link or even better, a QR code on the sign. So I could just QR code it and then could see right there on the Google Doc that it's booked.
And then to be able to book then a number for.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
officer.
to book it, do this, so that at the tennis court, if there is an issue, scan the QR code, takes you to our calendar, then you could show a family or whoever's there that this has been pre-booked. So this facility may be pre-booked. To confirm availability, scan this QR code, we check, and then it's there. And I think I know we're talking about user fees and generating revenue, and I think Councilor Mandu sent a note out that I think it would be $800 for the year if we went with user fees compared to the city sign. I'm okay with doing the first year trial without it personally. Let's see where, because if they're gonna monitor and give us feedback on how it worked, then that could be a trade-off to the user fee. But how's that work for you?
I don't mind a user fee.
I think we need to go there, yes, but
We have fees for the ball diamond this year.
No,
no,
we're
not yet.
looking into it.
Okay, then
But
I
I
agree.
think
I was
we
gonna
need
say,
to
if we're
implement it.
charging a fee for ball diamonds at soccer fields, then I don't
We
know
don't
if we
fee
can charge a
charge
fee for this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once we figure out
Okay,
what we're doing with fees, then we would introduce
Yeah.
it.
then I do agree with
Yeah.
that.
Just ask the question.
Paul's the chair, so. Yeah, sure.
He mentioned insurance, this man here, I'm just wondering, would we be responsible for having insurance for our group?
Yeah, so any group that books any of our facilities is required to show us certificate of insurance with the village named as a co-insured. So that if somebody, I mean, it's our facility, we own it, we maintain it,
Uh-huh.
but if somebody gets hurt while you're booking it, your insurance covers the village as well.
Just to clarify,
Like, not personal
Yeah.
insurance.
when it's a drop-in, it's not required.
That's right. I mean, if somebody just shows up and is using it, they're not required to, but if it's an organized group, they are.
Okay, thank you.
That book,
Pardon me.
yeah, that's actually.
I guess it sort of changes our rules of engagement when you book a reserve, right? 'Cause we're now like setting up your use of our facility.
That would apply
We're
as
in
well.
an
too.
agreement, yeah.
Yeah,
As if like a private group that's not, this just comes down on a regular basis, get it through, but if they want to do like a weekend tournament or something, that would be.
I think you have to go
advisable
through the office.
to have, yeah.
but if you're just a casual user walking on, then your personal insurance and our insurance would cover that. And I don't think it's expensive, is it?
No, generally not. I mean, like, I guess this is the second year we required for the ball land, right? Second or third.
This first year I've been part of it,
Yeah.
right? So, but I do
It is.
know last year, because I'm getting messages of, I've got the same insurance as I had last year.
Yeah.
Got one for the ball.
So it's the second or third year required of the ball diamonds. Other municipalities have been requiring it for years. And I think people are kind of, when they first hear it, they're a little bit alarmed by it. I think understand that people generally don't have a problem. And once they contact their insurance agent, it's a fairly simple thing to arrange and not-
Especially when you break it down to the group, right? It might be $10 a person if you did the math on all of it, right? So,
And it also protects you if you're the organizers of play, that it holds you, like, you don't get caught in something like that, right? So it's the world we sort of moved into, so.
do you guys have bookings elsewhere or just,
Sorry?
do you guys book anywhere else?
Yeah, we play at River City Vineyard right now.
Oh, okay, that's an indoor one.
Mhm.
Okay. And they don't require insurance there?
Now they may have their own more,
And an indoor facility too, right? I
Yeah.
don't know how it.
and they have multiple users too, so they may have something with their own.
Mhm.
I know, for what I do, I book facilities for my business and I I always have to show my insurance for every municipality in the county where I book from. One place I would get you to start, I don't know if pickleball has a governing body and affiliate or anything like that. Sometimes they offer very low rates through their own governing body.
Even the tennis association might, if the pickleball doesn't have it, you might look for the tennis association, they might. You know, Sonia's got like quite a big tennis group, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I think in the recommendation, as far as fees, it should just say something like, fees may be introduced as part of our overall review of facilities fees, and, so I think when the ball diamond fees in
Yeah.
place, it would, like, we can't charge one. Not yet, that's my,
I agree with that.
and then a 1-year trial, let's see how it goes, and if there's protests in the streets, we'll revisit it. But and then one other just item that came up, if I may, is apparently there's been, maybe not your group at all, but there's been some parking complaints in our lot. It's very small, and just one group, there were people parking on the grass or along the side. So you can just let your users know that the on-street parking is available, the lot's full, so that's all.
Mhm.
And I say, I'm not saying it was your previous users, but we've had some complaints already this year about people just trying to all squeeze into a lot, so.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
No, I didn't.
We do compost on Wednesday, so we know when you're
Oh,
there. You drive your truck down the middle of the road.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's just a-
yeah,
so,
yeah.
And just, sorry, just
Yep.
one more thing, that the bathroom, is there possible to get a porta potty?
I didn't see anybody in favor of that. Everybody in our email group that responded was not in favor of having that because it's such a small residential area. So I would say no.
Yeah, there have been no support for that at all.
And it, on an aside, the splash pad opens when, May 24th.
Well, June 1st, it says on the phone.
Okay, so the splash pad washrooms open, and there are washrooms right under the bridge that are open with May 1st.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then there are washrooms over by the water treatment plant, over the Flag Plaza as well. So it's just a quick run up the trail. So,
One or two of the neighbors are very friendly. to you.
yes, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the guy next door is really nice. But, I think its consensus was that we think there's enough public washrooms in the needed area that, porta potty may be not necessary. So, and then again, this could be part of your feedback to us,
Mhm.
at the end of the year of how much of an issue is, but there will be 3 open washrooms during the.
You're
during the
friends with the
time.
yacht club people too, maybe you can sneak through the fence.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yacht
Or
club,
maybe
that's
some of
all,
our members, right? And then they've got the gate right there.
Yeah, 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 so,
Thank you.
ain't no problem.
Okay, now,
Okay, so this, yeah, just so you know, this goes to council in 2 weeks, and then we'll have our,
And then you will send remarks to
Yeah, whoever sent that email will send.
me, yeah, okay, great.
yeah, and then you'll have an answer 2 weeks from today.
Really appreciate your
Yeah.
time today.
No
Thank
problem,
you.
yeah, thanks for coming.
so now we move
Enjoy your
on to the-
pickleball today.
on the capital project update.
Okay.
So it is a list of different capital projects and a short few word update on where we're at. And anything that's completed, we've highlighted in yellow, so don't think we need to go through it item by item, but if you have any questions.
So the hot water system for August, so obviously is the crossover then?
That's, yeah,
Okay, so that's why we sort of picked that.
Yeah.
Least disruptive to everybody.
exactly.
And how long is the project, do you think?
It's a fairly, I think, I see the August date is the start date, so I was saying late August, that must be the,
Completion.
expected completion.
Okay.
So do we just receive and file that? Is there any other new business?
I think we should possibly address, the neighbor from the tennis court sent an email yesterday with parking concerns. So I think we should discuss that a little bit and see if there's anything that we can do. Apparently there's people parking on the grass in the, like pulling into.
I don't know how, like, how much you wanna spend on it, but if you look at what Panther has done, and what we did at Praise, we got some of that, armor stone. And placed it along the edge, so you can't drive up there, like, we had to do that at McCray. Back quite a few years ago, because they kept parking on the grass there, so we put those 4 armor stones there.
Yep.
And now they can't. Like, we basically forced their hand.
Or lay get some stone layer, some gravel lay down, extend parking.
Yeah, when we designed the park, that was a big concern is,
Is it being too close to the neighbor's house?
parking in the property, we committed to maintain very few
I
spots.
think generally it's never been big user groups using it. Like,
Yeah.
you get this group that comes and they're all there waiting to return. So
Yeah.
now you've got, like, you should see that road. Like I'm serious, when we go down for compost, there's people on both sides. So you drive down the middle and you have to drag it all the way to the truck, right?
Yeah, the parking lot we agreed would be more for accessibility and
Yeah, and just like you and I going to play tennis, so we park the car there. It's
Yeah.
not meant- It was never meant for a big user group. And so that's the challenge there, right? So there is a fair bit of street parking, but they all come in individual vehicles and they come. So there's 20 cars on that road on Wednesdays.
so Armstrong's a good option. Simple signage.
Yeah.
Could be an option. We just put a no parking or no parking on the grass, but again,
Strategically
placed
pole.
well, it's enforcement and we're regulating common sense,
Yeah.
right? There's spots with lines for cars to go in and there's the grass has no
Yeah.
lines.
Right,
I mean, the fact that you need signage for that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
so armor stone, the other option is those curbs, like those 4-inch or 5-inch high curbs. You just
Well,
separate
yeah.
on the edge, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah, but then people might think they're parking spots.
yeah,
The Excel, I think Armstrong, it's expensive, but it looks nice. Maintenance just sits there.
Other than that, we let them.
Yeah.
They're very basic. I don't know how much they would be per piece, right? Like,
so maybe that's something for the next committee meeting,
you get a price.
do a
on
bit
that.
of research and we can.
I can get a price, like, I'll just check with the groups and a couple other places, but it's,
I think we were looking to redo the pergola at one point, so we had, price quote some, so they're sold by the pound.
well, and I
Right.
know, like, I talked to Paul Churchill, because he works for Lake Shore Lawn, and they get it by the truckload. So he said, if you want it, let me know, and we can piggyback off of each other type thing.
Yep.
You could, you know, save on
Maybe get a better price.
Yeah,
Because we could pick it up there, I mean, even we only had to pick up, like, we've got that big trailer, we could pick up 3 at a time. Still, like, or if they dropped off so much at Lakeshore and brought the rest to our shop, like, there's potential for that,
Yeah.
right?
And you don't have to buy monstrous ones.
It's not something that we budgeted for, so I just want to make sure
Yep,
you
yep.
understand that we've got to go and spend $2,000 on rock.
Yeah.
We've got to
And
find,
then maybe for the next meeting, you can just give us, you think, do we have to go that far? Or is there appropriate signage that can be placed and show us where you put the signage that, like I say, with a sign, you have to have somebody enforce it. With a stone,
Yeah.
there's no enforcement because they're gonna damage their car if they try to park
and
it.
then we do have a couple of those heat down, no parking signs still left from,
Yep.
and they only last so long. So I don't know, we could put them along that edge, like no parking, but that means don't park on the grass. I don't know if that would actually resonate, very strongly.
I'd rather save those for downtown.
Yeah, but we just know that they do have a lifespan.
Yeah.
Do we have any of those small parking blocks somewhere that we're not really utilizing? That would be, because we put it along the side. I think our lines are very well painted where a parking spot is. I don't think someone would park up against it.
I can look
Just
and see
thinking
what
if
those
we-
are. We don't have any. There might be some at the back of the arena.
That's what I'm thinking, that we don't really, like, at the back of the arena, there's a fence.
Yeah.
And
And you
that's a
can't
pretty
really-
good indicator of how far to take your parking.
Yeah.
And I know, I thought in that,
Even-
between the
even-
figure skating building, there was a couple there, even if we could utilize that, put them right along the grass, that's enough of a barrier. Say, hey, I probably shouldn't drive over that.
I can look and see what
We
we
can look
have.
at some options and
Yeah.
I mean, we want it to look nice too, right? So you don't wanna.
Yeah.
You don't put logs there too, but, you know, you wanna,
But just as a rate now,
I can look and see what else.
One of the nice with armor stone too is they become benches,
Yes,
right? So
Yeah.
people can sit there, tie up their shoes, take a rest. When you have the 20 people there, another place for people to
That was kind of what
congregate.
we were thinking about the pergola too, that it would give people places to sit, like, if
Yeah.
you have gardens in between and have a couple of rocks. or-
Yeah,
You know, that'd be the pricing on it, I don't know that was in some of the other budget before, but it does look nice. And it's worked really well for signing it for, because they've been replacing all their poles with it,
Yeah.
right?
they're using them everywhere.
Yeah. I'm sure they got a couple of them, so maybe I can talk to them, maybe we can buy a bunch. Maybe they don't need all the ones they have in place, right?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know how well you know the guys that are doing the big restoration by laws there, maybe they could go in with a couple.
Yeah,
Cause they're bringing them in truckload after truckload,
I
like
was
every
thinking
day,
they probably were moving some too.
yeah, so.
Yeah, and those ones that are moving, I think they're a little bit smaller too, so this would be easier to.
So they're hauling them away and maybe we could, I think it's.
we have somebody on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very end.
It is Van Bree that's doing the work.
Maybe, you know, put the forks on and go like 2 in the morning.
Taylor's not much.
I could stop by and talk to them.
Yeah,
If they're trucking back, we get rid of them. We could go ahead. What they would do.
Yeah, they're just,
But I'll look and see if we have any of those.
we move on to financial statements. Was there anything on there that needed to?
I can see them.
Again, all the numbers look pretty good, we're fairly early in others. If there's no questions, we'll let me move to receive and file items 1 and 2. Yep. Agreed. For adjournment. Next meeting on May the 9th.
And, yep,